The Omid and Kojo Show.
What's going on? It's your boy Omid. Welcome to the Omid and Kojo Show. I'm your first host.
And I'm Kojo, your second and superior host.
Inferior host, because look at this man. He's more hippopotamus than he is human, and he is a waste of skin.
Thanks, Omid. Thanks. That's a great way to kick off the show. Everyone's going to love that.
He has got thin skin though.
Don't even bring my skin into this. Alright, and our guest,
Yeah, we got a man.
all the way from the north.
Yo, it's Chris Bozzy, also known as Bozzy.
Yeah, is the king of the north.
Well, the small king of the north. The small prince.
So we got Bozzy on because why the fuck not, honestly? And he's a lovely little fella. Also, I'm noticing the salt and pepper. I'm loving it.
Oh yeah,
I love
this
it.
year.
It's just getting more and more. And
Yeah, this year's been.
I envy
It's
it.
been a hard year. Getting more and more great.
Next time you
I like
see
it,
us,
though,
we're going to
yeah.
be full silk.
Oh, nice. I like it. I'm rocking it. I think
Full silver.
the more it goes, I'm gonna keep it going. I'm not gonna try.
Yeah,
and
no,
That suits you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're going to look
pull
like
it
a
through.
fucking
You look like-
rugged
One of
fox.
those killer grandpas.
Yeah, I'm just going to be bold.
Nah,
I'm
it's a
nearly
way to
there.
go.
I mean, I can rock it. I can be like...
You've done the full shave.
Yeah, I want to see what it
didn't
was
you?
like. And I was going
Was
for
that a
like...
tester?
You know the dead shot look from from what Suicide Squad, Will Smith Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Now he looks pretty sick in that.
He's
I was
killing
like,
it.
I want to look
I
like
can rock
that.
You did kind of rock that look a bit.
That's what I was going
honestly.
for, the dead shot look.
Yeah, it was good looking.
That's going to be my look when I get on a bit.
I'm going to go
few
for
more years.
the bullseye look from Daredevil, the Ben Affleck one. I'm going to like carve a little bullseye into my
Oh, yeah.
forehead.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm going to shave my head and I'm going to have crazy eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
That was-
Just picking up the kids from school.
I never miss.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was a lot. Yeah, so who are you? What's your story? Where are you from? How long have you been tricking? What's your favourite sex position? And what's your biggest fear?
Right. I feel like I'm at AA meeting with that. I'm Bozzy, or Chris Bostock. I am from a small town near Scunthorpe, which is like in the north-east of England. I've been tricking for far too long, about 11 years now. Yeah, I think I started around the end of 2007, then 2008. I've been more or less tricking since then and coaching and travelling all the way until around last year, more or less. So I've been doing it, quote unquote, full time, but been having lots of other jobs and stuff around in the meantime. We'll skip the sex position.
Leave that one to everyone's imagination.
I'll gotta leave a bit of mystery.
I think you all know.
Fear. Oh, spiders. Spiders are shit, man.
Yeah,
Well,
fair.
you're in a garage, so...
Oh yeah, we should probably talk about that.
Yeah, so you've probably noticed by now that the room looks shit. It's because we're having a tough
rustic.
time.
It's rustic.
It's rustic but shit. It's shit rustic. It's
call
not
a spade a
classy
spade.
rustic. We're trying our best. We've been very busy. We're just trying to keep on top of things. I took the boxes off the wall. There were a load of boxes on there. I had to undo like 20 screws. Took me a while. Cut my finger a bit. It was really tough for me, actually, yeah. Bit of tough labour for
Not used to
Kojo.
that.
So yeah, I've been having a tough time just sharing. And that's why the wall looks shit. But soon it's going to be amazing. Soon we're going to have pictures, maybe a mural, maybe some kind of VR screen,
Maybe a moose head.
moose head,
You should do that.
Yeah, we see.
an aquarium.
You've
Got like a shark doing
A suspended
amazing.
aquarium.
Yeah.
Just by chains, it's like swinging.
But yeah, it's going to be better in the future, so don't even worry about that.
Just don't
Don't
think
even
about it.
start worrying about that. But yeah, back to
Transition.
Bozzy.
Yeah, spiders, they suck.
Agreed.
Nah, spiders are fine.
They
I don't get why everyone's so.
No, I tell
they're
you
just
what,
not nice.
I feel like it's just a trendy thing to be scared of spiders.
Nah, people just don't like them.
I think it's what,
gross.
like
They're
what you've
fine.
been exposed to when you're younger and stuff. Like if you were the kind of kid that would go around and wouldn't be bothered about spiders and just kind of let them crawl or pick them up and take them outside, then you're probably fine. But if you've had like traumatic experiences,
I had no choice. My dad's foreign as fuck, so that gives you a little bit of an insight as to the kind of person he is. So he used to like get massive spiders in his hands, and he'd like kiss them and like pretend to throw them at me and all sorts of shit. So I was like, I had no choice.
look at
Because he'd be like, they're fine. He wouldn't actually kiss them.
Oh.
It was really weird. So full tongue, French
Sneck 'em
kissing,
off.
all sorts. And yeah, it was horrifying for a little bit, and then I wasn't scared anymore.
I was scared of dogs for a while. Didn't like dogs.
Didn't your parents get a dog though?
No, we haven't had any dogs
Oh,
or
okay.
cats. We've got fish, got a pond. That's about it.
We've
no.
got a pond.
We can talk about
It's
pond
still-
stuff later.
Yeah.
I'm down. Yeah. I'm all
Keep
right. Yeah.
Pond life.
Pond life. Yeah, that's what I was here for, right? Just talking about ponds, talking about koi.
Yeah, the people need to know.
So yeah, how long have you been tricking? Like roughly.
About 11 years.
Okay.
So when you started tricking, who were the first trickers you met, and where did you meet them?
So the way I got into tricking was I've been skateboarding since I was about 3 years old, and I skateboarded from when I was 3 until about 18 or 19, because I was still skateboarding a little bit when I first got into tricking. But I went to college with Rick Harris, who is lesser known now to, I guess, like the general tricking populace. But back in the day, when it was a really small community, everyone knew everyone. And Rick just happened to live like 10 miles away from me. We went to all different senior schools, but then the same college. And when we went to college, I'd injured my ankle pretty badly skateboarding. And when I was getting back into doing stuff, they were all doing free running and parkour. And I was like, oh, that seems like a great way to strengthen up my ankle for getting back into skateboarding. They obviously this is the way a 16-year-old brain works.
Do the most
some
efficient
flips on hard
If I
ground.
just slam my ankle into the ground, it'll get used to it. But they'd already been doing it for a while. So when I first started doing stuff, maybe a month or two later, they were like, "Oh, we're not doing this parkour free running thing anymore. We're going to get into doing tricking." And I was like, "That sounds pretty wild. What are we doing?" We used to do like imagine all the flips and all the kicks you could ever conceive of. We're going to do that instead of jumping over benches. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So I trained with Rick for a while, and then I went to a gym in Derby, which was the Red Floor gym that Damien Walters owned. And I met Jake Shawcross and Joe Paxton, and they were the first trickers I ever met.
Why were they training there?
Derby, because they're from Crewe. Well, they're from like Stafford area.
Yeah.
And I used to live in Crewe, so ironically, I used to train when I did gymnastics as a kid at the gym that they used to train at in Crewe, which is a bit of a weird coincidence.
Okay.
But Derby was more or less because now, a bit of a tangent, but now there's loads of gyms everywhere. Like the gym situation in the UK is really good at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you live, there's some spots in the UK which aren't that good, but as a generalisation, you're maybe an hour or an hour and a half from a gym at the worst, wherever you are in the UK, which isn't that bad.
And normally multiple as well,
And
within like an hour and a half.
normally not too bad.
It's mad faff if you got to get public transport and stuff because it's not just an hour. Because I remember I used to live probably 45 minutes drive away from a gym, but it used to take me several hours to get to the gym.
Yeah, exactly. I've always been looking where because I'd started training later on. I was able to drive and stuff there, so I was able to get to wherever. But yeah, for some reason Derby and Nottingham were just the places that they all trained at as well, and I think that was down to those were probably the closest open gyms that they could get to, and they happened to be the closest open gyms that we could get to as well. But it was still like an hour and a half drive to get there. So
obviously, tricking in the dark ages and up to this point, shit's changed.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, man. Like
how's the community, especially in the UK, changed? Because I feel like it's kind of
no social media really back then.
Yeah.
I mean, well, you had like Facebook, but early Facebook when you
yeah,
started.
I mean, I think the community is in the people and the personalities that are in the community are really similar. I don't think anything's changed, more or less. I think everyone is the same. I think maybe 10 years ago, the personalities were really a bit more specific and a bit different. You'd be like, "Oh, you're a bit out there in comparison to this other guy," but still, we've got like strong personalities and a lot of people that are around now. But yeah, we didn't have Facebook, and we had Facebook, and I guess it was around the time that kind of like MySpace and stuff were big, and you didn't really let's set up a gathering on MySpace.
The MySpace Trickiness.
But we had T2, we had Tricks Tutorials. So where we have now kind of like Facebook and the groups and all of the kind of the UK groups and the Birmingham groups and all the things for the gym. We had the same with Tricks Tutorials, and everyone knew everyone from there. So it wasn't too bad. We because the website was small enough and everyone knew everyone's usernames and this, that, and the other anyway, we were still able to kind of have an online community as such.
Well, that's fair.
Yes, it was pretty good.
I feel like the UK community is really weird because there's a lot of, I say a lot, there's like quite a few trickers, but they're all kind of spread out.
Yeah, it's really,
it's like
it is
tiny little communities knocking about everywhere.
I think Birmingham's more or less probably the, outside of London, would be probably the most dense population of people that actually do tricks. Outside of that, everyone's really, even if they train at the same gym, they're all from all different kind of spread out areas.
We just kind of forced it in a way. Like, we got Kyle and Sean. Yeah. We just captured them.
I think Birmingham, well, it being like such a big city for the UK anyway, it attracts a lot of people, and there's just a lot of people there anyway. But I think it's probably the best place it could have happened.
Got 6 triple corkers in Birmingham.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, isn't it?
And how many are in the UK? Like 10?
Maybe 10 or 11.
I don't know.
So it's not much.
Not
so
much.
It's
like the majority of people, well, like the best trickers in the UK live in this house.
Apart from Tiki Woo.
Like, yeah, apart from Tiki, which then is, if you imagine the London community in like Tiki and stuff, it's London. That's the only other place. And you think when everyone thinks, oh, the best tricks in the UK, they're probably from London because everyone thinks that London is the UK. But
I don't know, the London community seems
they're
very segregated.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is London's really big and it's quite hard to get in and out of London with like how much time it takes to get to places.
Yeah, and driving to central London is fucking faff.
You've just got so much there as well, though.
Yeah,
like they don't need to leave.
Yeah, what would be the point in? I mean, say when we had like the Basingstoke gatherings and genetics and stuff when that was running, they wouldn't even come out of London to do that, and it's literally half an hour to get to London Waterloo, and then you get on the train to Basingstoke.
Yeah.
So if they're very to themselves and they're like, well, we'll just do things in London, they won't just go a little bit outside of London. They're never going to go to gatherings and stuff all over like the Midlands or in Scotland and stuff like that. It's a bit different now. There's a lot of people that are travelling around now, but there's still a lot of trickers that stay in London.
Yeah, it's weird. I see names on Facebook that train in London, and I've never seen them before in my life. And I'm like,
yeah, I see that. People who are pretty good.
And I'm like,
never met them.
Know who you are.
Yeah, I don't know whether that's they have got good at tricks, but they're performers. They do other things.
Yeah, that makes
they
sense.
just got good at tricks, and they do the moves, but they're not part of the community as such.
I feel like they've got more of that kind of LA vibe where everyone just kind of does a little bit of everything, and they can do some flares and air flares and whatever and mills.
It's a big, it's like a real big melting pot. If you go to like Beckton and stuff, there's people doing crazy stuff.
I want to go sometime. I've not been to Beckton.
Have you not been?
Not ever.
That floor is phenomenal.
It's insane.
You take off.
It's crazy. I love it.
It's really, really.
I want to try it out.
There's a gym by Heathrow Airport as well.
Yeah, that's I've
is
been.
It Heathrow or is it Gatwick?
Yeah, no, it's Heathrow. Yeah, I've been. I think there's 3 or 4 gyms that I've been to in London, but the Heathrow one's one of them.
Yeah.
But they were really particular about because when I went, it was years and years ago, and they were very gymnastics focused.
Yeah.
So.
I can tell that's the case, but I was there for a circle audition, so I was just going mad.
Oh, that's not too bad then. Yeah, that's fine.
But that floor, bruh, That
Yeah,
floor.
that's a
And
really-
all,
that's
all
a
the floors
really,
in London
really
are just
nice floor.
crazy good.
Yeah.
It's like the one in Beckton's. Like, I prefer it to the hooked floor, but it's similar
Oh, really?
sort of bounce and
Mm.
stuff. It's crazy.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think the hooked floor scares me a little bit sometimes.
Oh no, I
Uh,
love the hooked floor. The hooked floor's
The blues,
amazing.
the blue
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
You just got to harness it.
it's-
It's a,
yeah,
it is
I-
a tough one.
I think that if I trained on it for a couple of days, I'd get used to it. But it's like really fast.
Yeah.
Like it really shoots through your body, and I
Yeah.
think that it kind of shocks me a little bit sometimes.
One of
You
the-
don't know whether you're going to jar your knees or anything.
Yeah.
It's really rough carpet as well. I hate that shit. 'Cause
I don't
whenever
mind.
fell-
It's good
No,
grip
no.
at least.
No, it's good. It's just that you don't want to bail on that.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
bailing
you-
on sandpaper.
yeah.
That shit cuts you.
Get a burn.
Are you going to hook this year?
That's my plan. Yeah, I want to. I've not been for the last 2 years, maybe.
Yeah.
So I went to the first hooked and then the second, and then just missed out. I didn't do anything for
Should
like
come.
2 years.
5-year anniversary.
Yeah, I know. I
Should
want
be a
to.
big one.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that would stop me going would be if I had work on that I could not
Yeah.
get out of. But I was saying to the guys earlier, with it being because it used to be like the 16th through 18th,
Yeah.
and that was still a little bit too far away from Christmas. That work was still happening, and now with it being 20th through 22nd or whatever, no one's working, everyone's off
Yeah.
anyway, so it's no problem. But
So just so you know, we are in a garage.
It's not
and it's a windy
It's
day.
very windy.
It's
Yeah,
very
it
windy,
is.
and we also have a ghost in the house, and
Several ghosts.
yeah, several ghosts. There's like a ghost for each wing of the house,
yeah.
and this one's a bit pissed at the minute, so
Yeah.
she keeps running into the garage doors. So just
Yeah.
bear with us.
So
for
don't
any
mind the ghosts.
sounds.
But on to the thing I'm most interested to talk to you about,
Yeah.
actually.
go on.
Tell me about old UK tricking gatherings. Because I've seen videos of these legendary gatherings.
Devon
Yeah,
Gathering.
never went. What was it like?
So I started tricking in around June, and they held. I think it was around June. It might have been a bit earlier on the year than that, but it was near summertime, and because all of Rick and those guys had been online on trick tutorials, this, that, and the other already, I started looking on there, and I was like, oh, they have these gathering things. That sounds amazing. I don't know. I've never been a gathering before. I've never been around any other trickers outside of like Rick and Jake and Joe. And they said when we went to the gym in Derby, they said, "Oh, you should look for this Devon Gathering," and this was Devon 2008. And I said, "Sounds good. I'm all about it. I've been going skateboarding competitions and things like that before, so I like the idea of being around a load of people and training and doing whatever." We didn't really have battles or anything back there. It was.
You see that you could tell it was such a different vibe. It was just a bunch of.
It was really just
men.
like homies hanging
Yeah.
out.
Where was
basically.
it hosted, the Devon
It
Gathering?
was at a guy called Joe Shields. It was his house. His mum and dad had a big house in Devon, and in the back garden it had it was like a farmhouse. So I had a big back garden, and there was maybe, I think at Devon 2008 there was about 40, maybe 30. 40 sounds quite a lot actually. Maybe about 30 trickers that were there. And everyone went down and just took tents and everyone camped out. And then we had, it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We had 3 grass sessions. Well, you could grass session whenever you wanted because the garden was lovely. And then we had 1 gym session for 2 hours on the Saturday, I think. But it was super cool. It was really, really different. It's a lot like music festivals where we all took tents down, everyone camped out, we had a big bonfire, it was all just fun, bit of drinking. Joe happened to have a sauna in the back garden as well, which was dope, and a massive plunge
Sick.
pool. It
That's
was
lovely.
like, thinking
Sick.
about it now, it was actually probably one of the most perfect setups for a
Yeah,
gathering.
that's
You're like,
awesome.
got a sauna and a plunge pool, that's perfect. Everyone was really nice, and I think because it was such a small community as well, everyone that was there, it was very special because it was like tricking's a really small community, and then maybe all the UK trickers are even smaller of a community, and then again the people that are actually coming this gathering and actually hanging out. So you got to really get to know everyone, and
Yeah, that's the worst thing about a lot of gatherings now.
And you just kind of say hi and bye to quite a lot of people. There's a lot. I mean, if you take Hooked 500 people, you can't sit down and have like a conversation with people.
Even just the people, everyone. Well, even people I know, people who are my friends. Yeah. That it's got to the point now where at Hooked, I kind of have too many friends there for me to have proper conversations with all of them.
No, I get you.
Like, so there'll be people who I know from around the world who I've spent time with and stayed at their house. And I'll be there the weekend and I won't even have a conversation with them because there's so many people.
It feels really bad as well because like you know that those people you might only see once or twice a year, and then you're like, well, I can't
do everyone.
Too many people, yeah. Especially when you're trying to train as well.
Yeah.
Because that's one of those things when you're in a gym 100% of the time, you can just trick whenever you feel like tricking, and maybe that time one of those guys was free and they wanted to chat and you're too busy doing tricks. So
I hate I'm sorry, this is a slight tangent, but I hate it when people try and talk to me or have
so don't talk to Omid.
I'm literally in the hypest. Okay, so this Hooked, there's this one I was trying to do trip swing Cork for the first time. I was going crazy. It was one of the hypest sessions of my life. I'm literally wheeling up about to do it. The music was perfect. No one else was going. I was like, cool, I'm going to fucking kill this. And then some guy comes over and he's like, Omid. I was like, I can't believe it. I was just looking at him like...
You'd think of like old people, trickers would know tricker etiquette.
I was just like...
If you're like mid kind of, you know, like the cheap wind-up. If you're mid that, people are like, I'm staying out of the way of this man.
Comes over and he's like... Are you okay? Can you give me tips on my Webster? I'm like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna end you. I'm just gonna 2-foot kick you in the chest. Don't hassle people when they're mid-session, especially when it's one of the hypest sessions of their lives.
In general sessions anyway. I have a problem with I talk too much at sessions quite a lot. I've been trying not to now. Tell you one of the best people to be around when you talk too much at a session that'll make you shut up is Jordan Edwards. Jordan Edwards hates it when people talk to him when he's training. Well, like general chit chat's fine, but like he's very similar in terms of he's in the zone, he wants to do his tricks, and then if you just bug me or I'm doing something, it's not like he'll get annoyed, but he's just like, oh, come on, man.
It's just one of those, I'm going to look over here and you're going to keep talking, and then eventually
you'll realise that I'm trying to do a trick, and so I've been getting better at not interrupting people or just...
Has he been to any sessions since he's got back?
He's been to... he's not been to any sessions when I've been there, but I know that he's been at the gym at least once or twice since being back.
Have you seen him since he got back?
No, I haven't. I've chatted a little bit with him, but... outside of that, no. He's and injury wise, everything that he's posted online that's as much as he knows.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, I've been speaking to him back and forth.
One of the best people to speak to, really, about.
Yeah, I just get sad with him, so it's.
Maybe not.
That's
nice. We just cry.
No, both of us are just like, yeah, you'll be fine, and then we talk about crime.
There you go. As you need, cool baseline.
But yeah, that's cool.
One more thing I wanted to ask about.
When
you first met Peen and Kyle Skelly.
The Peen and the Skell.
Lionel's
Kyle
farm
Skelly 1, 2,
gathering.
3.
Yeah, what was that like? What were they like? Tell me about young Peen and Kyle.
I met him before then. I met Kyle and Sean before Lionel's gathering.
Where'd you meet him?
I met them at TF Simon's gathering at Simon's house in 2009.
Where's that?
It was in Prestwick, yeah. It was really random. I knew Simon from TT and from... I think he was at Devon Gathering as well. I think we met there. But he had, ironically, Devon, as in Tricker Devon, over... and there was a bunch of people that were going there, and with it being in Scotland, Sean and Kyle went, and I'm fairly sure that was before the UK gathering, because I feel like at the UK gathering we knew each other more than nothing at all. Yeah, rather than just like internet people. But that was a crazy gathering. The UK gathering was wild. Lionel's place as well. I tell you, you two never went to. I think was it 2011 was the first Was that the one that was at UTX? I'm not sure whether you
Oh
guys
yeah,
started.
oh yeah.
You were
no,
started.
no,
I think
no,
that might have been like very close after you first started.
Nathan Salmon just didn't mention it to me. No, I was tricking at the time. I was
Yeah.
training at UTX every few days, or well, most days.
Yeah.
But yeah, then there was a gathering at UTX. No one mentioned it to me. Didn't go. It was like half an hour from my house.
Yeah.
No one mentioned that there was a gathering. But that's good. No one really knew me. I just went to the gym and then didn't talk to anyone and practiced my tricks. I hadn't really said anything to anyone at that point. I didn't talk to anyone at the gym for the first 7-8 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of did my flips.
True Kojo classic.
That's the
Yeah,
one.
you know I'm like,
Yeah.
takes time to warm
Getting
to people.
The cone mind.
With the daggers.
Yeah. I
That's
love the
all I
daggers
thought
so
when you did
much. Yeah, the UK gathering was great as well. The Simon gathering was really small. There was literally only about 7 people there. It was more. It was very similar to this in terms of there's just a couple of people hanging out. It wasn't crazy, but I might have my timeline mixed up because that might have been just after UK gathering or maybe before it. I'm not sure. But then, yeah, the UK gathering was the first time I met those guys. I talked to them online a bunch though before that. Me and Sean used to talk quite a bit on. I'm not sure if MSN was a thing that everyone was using then.
I know that's how those two used to come.
Yeah,
Then it might have been the same. I think it was before everyone was using Facebook to just chat and stuff.
I used to love the MSN days.
Yeah.
Jesus, I used to get up to all kinds of mischief.
Actually, I'm fairly sure it was. Yeah, it would have been like MSN days. And so I'd talked to Sean and Kyle a bit on there. And then, then we knew of each other, and then we'd met each other at the UK gathering, and everyone hung out.
Was it weird because the way social media was back, the way the internet was back then, you'd know the smallest amount about people. And
Yeah, I guess so.
Whereas now, generally, it's
you
like
see
you
a
know
lot.
everything.
You know, You know, without meeting someone, you know, like the ins and outs of what's
Pretty
happening.
much, you know what they've had for breakfast that
Yeah,
day before you see
they
it.
posted it already on Instagram. So, yes and no, because I think that if it was a similar sized community now, back then it would have been like that because there would have just been loads of people where you're like, I haven't got a clue who you are. Because more or less you turn up to a gathering now and it's quite rare that you'll find someone that you've not heard of their name or at least something to do with it. There's definitely weird aliens out there that they turn up and do loads of triple Cork combos. You're like, who are you? Where are you from?
All of Russia, basically.
Or Japan.
Yeah.
But back then, it was small enough that everyone that kind of knew they were going to a gathering or posted online kind of talked to each other on MSN or social media stuff, like one-to-one chats. So you got to know them through that as opposed to just through osmosis of being online.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool though. But yeah, what were Kyle and Pete like?
Small little young boys.
Oh.
They were lovely. Honestly,
Are they all shy?
Hmm.
Which one was more shy, Kyle or Pete?
I'd say Kyle.
I think that they were both just a little shy. I don't think there was anyone that was like really in their shell. I think because I talked to them quite a bit. Had I not talked to them a lot beforehand, I might have seen them differently. But because I talked to them quite a bit, they were. I think they were a bit more open and a bit more kind of relaxed around us. And the same as every gathering, you kind of hang around in your little mini cliques and groups. So it wasn't too bad. But they were lovely little boys. It was great. Oh, yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 27.
Jesus
I'm 28
Christ.
this year.
Yeah, we got it. We thought we had it bad.
Oh, I'm on my way out.
He's
Definitely.
not much older than us, I mean.
He's much older than me. He's 4 years older than me.
You 3 years soon.
When are you 28?
November.
Actually, no.
So he's 4 years older.
That's not much, I mean.
That's a long time.
You know, in fact,
think about how great you felt 4 years ago.
I did not feel great.
4 years
Felt
ago.
terrible.
Think about
Trying
how-
to fuck my leg.
Think about how
That was
you
the
feel
first time,
right
though.
now. That's how I felt 4 years ago.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
so
no.
4 years is a long
and you don't
time.
feel great right now.
I'm out, bro. I'm fully out.
I tell you what, like I thought, as you're getting older, I thought that I think that the horror stories you hear of people being like, when you get to 25, your legs will fall off. You'll never flip again. And I don't think that's true. And then you kind of get to that age, and I think people just didn't have a clue how to take care of their bodies and just run themselves into the ground or never conditioned and stuff. But I am getting a lot of little injuries now that are just, you can't help it, and they creep up on you. And they're the more ones that I think as you get older,
you're just more prone to injury.
You collect those little injuries, which if you collect enough little injuries, suddenly you can't trick.
Yeah, I get that. Because it's not, I don't know, usually the people that completely blow themselves out, like with one particular thing, then you can kind of be any age.
Yeah, that's just like random.
But then most people that end up stop tricking, it's just because they're just like, I can't be arsed.
Just get worn down.
I've been in pain for like 9 years now. I can't be arsed.
Or life takes over.
Yeah.
You've got commitments of things.
Well, what are you trying to do with yourself now? What's the future got in store for Chris Bozzy Bostock?
The future for Boz, I'm currently getting my qualifications to be a personal trainer.
Okay.
And then after that, I am doing my qualifications to be a lower back specialist.
Okay.
So I can get like referrals from doctors and just do general training, conditioning and stuff like that. Because I've done, for the past couple of years, I've been doing performance work. Not a lot of stuff, but mainly just kind of like shows in the UK and festivals and events, and then doing coaching on the side. But I know that career-wise, teaching tricking and doing shows, I'll get to an age and be like, I can't really do this full time anymore, potentially, or the market just isn't there at the moment. Whereas something like being a PT or being like a lower back specialist, I don't have to just cater to clients as being trickers, and I can branch out to a lot of different people and help everyone.
Yeah, plenty of people with messed up backs.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
We'll be coming to you eventually.
I got you,
I'm
homies.
sure.
Yeah, give it a minute.
Give it a hot second. After the podcast, I'll sort you out.
So, where do you think tricking is going to go? Because obviously, like you've seen.
Yeah, I've seen some.
Seen some things.
I've seen some rises and dips.
So, because when I don't know, we have conversations frequently where it's like, I reckon tricking will kind of go in this direction, and it'll be more focused on double flips, or it'll be more focused on this, or this is what we would like to happen. What would you like to happen, and where do you think it's going to go? Do you think it's going to take a bit of a right turn at any point, and it'll just be completely different to the way that it is now?
I think the way that tricking works is in like waves, and that it will be very twist heavy, and everyone will get on certain tricks that are extremely twisty, and then that will keep going, and everyone will be really hype on a certain twisting move or just twisting in general. And then it will get to a point where everyone kind of gets a little bit desensitized or bored with it, and people then start branching out into doing more kicky, weird variation things. And then it kind of levels off and gets more well-rounded. And then after that, it will go back into another twisty phase. And it just keeps growing and growing, because it was from when I started, double corks were like mental. Like anyone that could double cork was crazy. Which is hilarious to think now.
Yeah.
But everyone started spamming doubles and doubles and doubles and doubles. And then after that, people started branching out into doing more transitions and kicks and weird things. And then like the triple cork phase is maybe on its way out now, where kind of like everyone is kind of like, I can more or less triple cork, or I'm kind of over it. It's not that big a deal anymore.
I feel like it's not that hype anymore. I remember a time when if anyone did a triple cork at a gathering,
it was
everyone would be
wild.
like, everyone would lose their mind.
Unless, like, I think the only time that happens now is either if it's from something mental, which is just a thing, or is someone's first triple cork of some kind.
I see
even
like
then,
dub swing trip at gatherings, no one cares that much.
I think that's because that's
if
what
it's
happens.
Johan.
What I was going to say was that you get desensitized to it a little bit, when everyone was doing double corks and triple corks before everyone started spreading out into doing more variations and stuff. Everyone kind of got to the point where they were a bit desensitized to it, and I think at that point, when people are no longer amazed by it or getting that feeling of wow from seeing something, then they will just start testing the waters in different things, and they happen to just be really good at tricks now as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that the next stage is going to be, I mean, look at Shosei and other kids just being like, oh, I'm doing random combos into quad falls and like triple fall variations and triple corks and just throwing backside 14s in combos like a tornado, and you're like, well, all right. But I think there will be a point where people start getting a bit desensitized to that, and those kids then, or the people that are doing those moves, will be like, oh, I'm not quite getting the reception, or I don't feel great about this anymore, and they'll start doing wild stuff, and then it'll go mental again.
Well, I think it's pretty clear with the type of tricks that you do that you know you like the OCs, you like the weird shit, you like doing
Do you like
steezy.
my legs going all over the place?
So, what is that the kind of direction? What kind of
I'd
tricks
love
do
it
you?
to go that way.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think right now we're doing pretty good. Everyone's kind of doing a lot of the stuff that. So me and Jordan Fung like doing scissors and a lot of kind of like mega rounds and weird stuff like that. And we've been doing that since maybe 2011 or 12, and now people are doing a lot of that stuff, or that's a big thing now. So I'm really glad about that, but I think that is the way that it's going to go. That will just be a new staple of tricking. Those aren't going to be weird tricks anymore. They're just going to be tricks.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of
I think
happening.
I
that's
think
kind
it
of
is
where
happening
it
now.
is.
I think
Yeah.
it is now.
Yeah.
But even more so than that, so there's going to be even weirder stuff that's going to happen.
Well, we're kind of seeing it
couldn't
right
really-
now, like fucking Cody doing like
The swing
doing the
9
swing
double
9
hyper.
double hyper and stuff. But
There's
then
a lot
Mike-
you can do
Mike
with
did
that
the
as
swing
well.
swing 12 triple, and it's like,
Yeah,
bro, like it's completely fucked.
yeah.
Like-
There's lots of weird stuff like that. Like, and there was people doing that years ago. Like maybe not doing swing 12 triple, but there was loads of people doing like swing 9 double hypers and things like that. But it maybe be one trick in a sampler somewhere, and that was it. And maybe that person did it once and was like, oh, I can do that, and then never did it again.
Yeah.
So people are really discovering all of the little minutiae that are in all the tricks. Because if you think of like how many tricks there are at a base level, if you think of like, I'm going to count just the numbers of cheat tricks, you're like, well, you've got maybe like tornado, 5, G7, 9, 10. You're like, well,
And then there's all the hypers,
and then there's all the hypers, and then there's all the, if I can crowd awake on all of them, if I can add variations.
And then you add the rodeo in, and then
There's
more
literally
kicks.
like
And,
an
yeah.
infinite amount of variations, and not all of those have been done. But it's getting to the point now where people are going to be like, what hasn't been done?
Yeah.
Let me try that.
Well,
And
'cause
they'll be able to do it.
Well, you really, really have to do something to make yourself stand out.
You've got to do
now.
something absurd.
Yeah, like-
something ridiculous.
And it's good to see because people are just kind of honing in on those particular skills and then just being like, right, I'm going to run with this before anybody else does it 10 times better than me, and then they really excel. And it's good to see because people, I don't know, there's one of the things that I've always hated the most about like the kind of progression of tricks. It's like immediately for me, I'll land something and I'm like, on to the next thing straight away, and I'm not even ready. I'm not happy with the other thing, but I'm like, but I want to get that next thing. And obviously, it took time for me to like control my mind to not do that, and that's really fucking difficult. But I see that a lot as well with people when they're trying to land new tricks, and it's just like, well, take a minute, like do the best triple full fail on that this world has ever seen before you do, like, if you can do quad full. I'm
exactly.
quad full.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't do quad full, but I'm saying I want to see that kind of shit as well because it's just not being done.
Yeah,
And that would
exactly.
excite me a hell of a lot more than seeing somebody do quad hyper, you know what I mean? And like just about sketching the landing.
Yeah. I mean, it's aesthetics at the end of the day, anyway, isn't it? You don't want to do tricks that look bad because you're not going to feel good about your own tricks, and everyone else that's watching is not going to feel
That's not
good
always
about
the
it.
case.
Some people don't
That's
mind
not
though.
always the
I-
case.
I think it's just a different way
No,
of
those
thinking
people
about
are-
tricks.
They're weird guys.
I think people who trick in like a not very attractive way and who don't really care about it, I think they're more into like how the tricks feel and achieving different tricks like
Yeah.
a checklist
Yeah,
rather than, because when I think about my tricking and how good I want to get, I don't see the individual tricks as me being good. I don't think, I want to get quad cork and then I'll be really good. I just think if my overall like style and just difficulty and execution is good and looks really nice, then I'm like good.
Yeah, I think that's. Well, I mean,
But some
personally,
people see it differently.
I
to
think
that.
that's the best way to go about it.
But it's like, do people? My question, because I've never sat down with anybody who I would deem as not having the most aesthetically pleasing style,
Yeah.
and said,
And then
Do you
talking to
know
them about their bad tricks.
that your tricks look well, because it is completely subjective at the end
Just
of the
get
day.
someone on the podcast. Think of a few.
Stop it. Stop it. Cause the biggest beef in trick. The Garrison versus the world.
Yeah.
Oh god. But I'm really intrigued though. Do people just not care? Are they not aware? Do they think that their tricks look good? Because they might. Because it is all subjective.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is just people wanting to, like you said, like a checklist. I want to do this trick. Well, I want to do this trick, but to get there, I've got to do this, this, and this. And I don't really care about how these look, because if I do these, then I can get to this next stage. And so long as they hit that stage, then they're like, well, even now, there are more things for me to do, and I can go on to the next things, in which case everything just carries on looking bad, or they then clean everything up. But the people that normally do A through Z to get to a certain trick as fast as they can, they're not the kind of person that will go back and drill
Yeah, you don't
easier
normally see
tricks
that
to get
happen.
them cleaner. They just happen to get cleaner through repetition of doing thousands of them.
Well, what do you think's harder? This is to both of you. What do you think's harder? Do you think it's harder to get to the hardest tricks, or have a slightly lower level but make them all look phenomenal? Because
it depends what you mean by the hardest tricks.
Yeah,
Do you mean like
groundbreaking.
hardest tricks across the board of everything, or just one area? Because I think just to get to the top of one area, to get like, if you want to get really good at kart stuff, to be able to do kart quad and stuff, I don't think that's as hard as being able to do even
If you
fairly
only
basic
did
stuff
kart
really well.
quad all
If
the
you're
time,
just
yeah.
doing kart punch, because when I got kart trip or round offy kart trip, that was in like after like 2 years or something. And if I'd just done that all the time,
You would
then
be
within
just
another
basing
year I
that
could have
on-
got
Yeah,
quad.
exactly.
Like if I was just focusing on that.
well, how has your mentality changed though? Because we never used to talk so much. We both knew that we had to clean our shit up because we were both disgusted by our tricks most of the time.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't have the discussions at quite the length that we would now about trying to make things look as good. But has your mindset changed as you've gone through for both of you?
I've always thought about how tricks looked more than a level. Like I was always more disgusted with how I was doing the tricks. I was never like, oh, this is so low level. Because I still get pumped now. If I do a cheat 9 hook touchdown raise Cork round, and I think I've done it all really nice, I'm pumped about that.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
like, cool, that makes me happy. I don't think, oh, that's basic.
Yeah, I think coming from a skateboarding background, there's really like I tried to make everything look as good or as easy or as steezy or whatever as it can be at all times, which for my tricks hasn't worked that good because I'm not. They don't look the way I'd want them to look, but I don't think they look bad. I think they can look better, but I think everyone can say that about their tricks.
But I think it's just the case with you in particular. You excel in certain things, same way everybody else does. It's like you try as you might, you can try and get the best cheat 9 in the world, but if naturally you're better at doing a D leg, a full D leg or something,
I am never gonna have the best cheat 7 ever. Like it's just not gonna happen. I'm not flexible enough. I don't train it enough. I don't care
I think
about it
that's
enough.
the thing. I think
You've got
that's
to
all
really
it boils
care
down
about
to,
it.
whether you want to or not.
Yeah,
It's
and
worth circling back
because it's really easy to trick yourself into being like, oh no, I do care, and you're like, well, if you do care, then why aren't you training splits like 3 hours a day every single day to get the flexibility you need to do it? Because for me, I've stopped training quite a lot of tricks or areas of tricks because I know that, say, cheat 7 or an amazing jackknife or like a cheat 10 or something, I could train that individual trick for hours and hours and hours and it won't get better because I don't have the prerequisites of being flexible and training great basics to have like any level jackknives.
But he's always astounded me in particular, though.
But then I don't obviously I don't care about it enough to actually do it, and I maybe I prefer the easier way out of just doing what I excel at. But at the same time, if that's what you enjoy, then
Well, he might be doing the easy way out as well.
That's the thing.
These might be the things that he's just finds really easy.
I think that's very true. I think you always look at what you haven't got as well. Like,
100%.
I think if you're someone who isn't flexible, say if you're amazing at doing twists and triple corks and this, that, and the other. But then you're not very flexible. You're always going to look at people that do kicks and be like, oh, that looks pretty good. But the people that are pure, strictly martial artists who just rock out standing vert side kicks might look at a triple cork and be like, well, that's pretty crazy as well.
Yeah.
So
Well, have you had any of those tricks? All right, but back to what you're saying about if you care enough about it, then you like put in the time to actually get it. Because I've got a couple of examples of that. My raise and my touchdown raise.
Yeah, you've trained extremely hard at those things.
Well, I've always found them really incredibly unnatural. They don't feel right for my body.
Yeah, raise is not a thing.
Yeah, but I just worked on them loads and loads and loads just because I really like them, even though I don't naturally get them. Like B-twist I got in like one try.
Yeah.
But raise, years and years.
Yeah.
Do you have any tricks like that where you really wanted it so bad that you got it, even though it wasn't natural at all?
At the start, yes, I was extremely bad at swings. Like, actually, a great example would be double cork. I was really, really bad at swings and double corks, which is ridiculous because at that point when I was training how to do double cork, I could do like triple fall and from round off and stuff. Like I've always been really good at doing round off tricks, just for whatever reason. I just find it really easy. But the idea of swinging was really alien to me. When I first learned doing swings, I used to do the classic swing with your knee, not with your foot. And then like I used to throw my head back and everything would be all disjointed. I'd never used to ride up the swing and do things. And it took me, I think in 2011, I'd had enough. And I was like, I'm learning double cork. I've had enough of this. And I think I spent maybe 4-5 months, 3 sessions a week, 2 hours every session, just doing double corks from master scoot. So I had no excuse.
It just froze you up.
Like, Sam, like you've been at the workshop sessions where I've been furious with myself. Like, and in the same way, like I know you drilled raise so much. Like I like what a lot of people might not realize is when people say like, oh, I trained really hard or I do a lot of stuff and that's why I got good. Sam used to go out when it was absolutely pissing it down and do double Bs on like rock hard mud in the rain.
Got dog shit all over himself.
Yeah, just ruining himself. And then maybe 2 weeks later at gym, you'd be like, how has Sam got so good at double Bs? He's like, oh, he's done 3,000 double Bs in the last 2 weeks. No wonder he's got all right. I've just been playing World of Warcraft. That's probably why I'm not very good at them. But yeah, double cork was a really annoying one. And then there's a lot of ones like I think I learned aerial after about 9 years of tricking. I just couldn't do that. It didn't work. But there's a lot of things now where I can do the trick, but it's like not good. Like
it's not comfortable.
I can raise. I could raise and swing dub out of it, no problem. Does it look like a raise? Does it feel nice? Does it look nice? No, but it is the move. You are doing the trick. But I've kind of got to the point now where I've realised a lot of those things that I want to achieve require more than just drilling that specific trick. It requires more mobility or flexibility or training of other things. But
yeah, I've been saying that a lot lately. The most important thing for me is not the actual tricks, because the tricks are the easiest part.
Yeah.
If
you don't have like a vessel that can achieve those positions, you're not gonna like. If you haven't got flexible shoulders and back and hips, you ain't gonna be able to do Gumby trip.
Well, for me, the biggest thing is just being able to get through the Gumby at this point. It's like I need the body to be able to do something without immense pain, and it's like, well, I know what I have to do. It's just maybe one day I'll grow up and stop being a fucking idiot. But
discipline's really hard in that way. It's really easy to turn it like it's for the past 11 years I've been turning up to gym sessions 3 times a week and training every single week, not really missing a week outside of injury. That's a lot of people might be like, oh, that's very disciplined. That's not discipline. I'm playing around. I'm just tricking. The discipline is like conditioning and eating well and stretching, and that happens 24 hours a day.
Eating well is the hardest shit for me because I can go to the gym.
Same.
I can go to the gym every day, and it's fine. I'll complain about it. I'll whinge and I'll cry on his shoulder and just nag at him and tell him that I don't want to go.
Yeah.
But I'll then go, but then I'll come back, kick it for a bit, and be like, I'm going to get KFC because it's like 10 to 11. It closes in 10 minutes
really
and I'm just going to get some fucking KFC while I'm working.
Yeah. I've been pretty lucky with that side of things with like nutrition and just diet and food in general. Like I've never ate bad. Like I've never been one to super gorge on sugar.
that's not
lots
lucky,
and
though.
lots and lots. I suppose it's not lucky.
Yeah.
No,
No.
I'm more mean in the realm of it's one
You're
less
good
thing I
at
need
that
to
one.
fix.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No, I
like,
see.
I can be better at it, but it's one like stretching. On the other hand, I am bad at doing that. Like I've been trying really hard over the last month or so to, especially because I've got a bit of an ankle injury at the moment. And I tore my hamstring a few months ago as well, so I've been trying to get all of that back to like normal ranges and then push it beyond. That I'll stretch and then I'll be like, oh, this is good. And then one day I'll just be like, oh, I haven't stretched in 2 weeks. And you're like, how did I not stretch for like a couple of days? What happened then? I find it really hard to keep on track of that, and it's not hard to do. Like, at 10 o'clock in the evening every single day, I will stretch. I'm always at home. I am always doing nothing. I will just spend time doing it, and then you don't do it because it's just so easy to not do.
I don't know what you see. For me, that was one of the easiest ones because it was like I would just. It was just part of my routine. Every single night before I go to bed, I'd just be... Well, easy. It was different when I was travelling and stuff, like a lot. Because
it's hard to get it in those times.
9 times out of 10, I'd skip a day or two, maybe 3 here and there. But it's like, I'd always just slot it in at some point during the day.
Yeah.
But when I'm at home, it's just every single night before I go to sleep. It doesn't matter if it's 3 a.m. and I've just been staring at my laptop for the past 8 hours.
It's a really good wind down before you sleep anyway.
I just have a stretch and then I'm listening to some chill music and then I just kind of get to this point where I feel like I've become my carpet and then I just kind of pull myself over to my bed and
just slide over.
I never do it like...
on him.
I don't do it right before bed. I always feel a bit tired by then. I always kind of want to just crash out.
Yeah, the idea would be to catch it like an hour before you're actually ready to go to sleep.
Well, I normally try and do it... I have like a few different stretches throughout the day, kind of. It's the way I do it at the moment. So like after a shower in the morning... Or steam room in the morning now, lots of the time.
Lucky man.
Then I have a big stretch then. Well, like 20-25 minute stretch. And then later on in the day, normally if I'm training, then I'll do like a 20 to 30 minute cool down where I have like a deep stretch. And then I'll do one more, like an hour or two before bed, I guess. I like to do 3 different like 20-minute stretches.
Do you find that when you do your statics and before training, I'm guessing you're doing statics and stuff like that. Or is it just kind of light?
It's a bit different. It's like my morning one. I do some static stuff, but for nowhere near as long as after training. And I mainly do like mobility stuff. So I'm doing hip circles. Yeah. I'm doing like leg raises as well. I'm doing bridge walking on the wall, like going up and down it. Yeah. I do a lot more movement in the morning, and then later on I do more static stuff. Yeah, it makes me feel much better for gym.
I was going to say it doesn't fatigue you in any way. I find sometimes when I do like mobility work in the day, before training, that it kind of like fatigues me a little for tricks. But I think that's mainly just because I'm so tight and not used to doing it that the mobility work actually feels like a workout rather than like a just kind of loosening up.
What kind of mobility work are you doing though? Because honestly, like when I started following the mobility, this isn't a plug. This is just genuine. But like when I started following a couple of the mobility regimes on Kojo's Trick Lab, it just meant that when I get to the session, I'd already feel warmed up, and then I'd stretch, and I'd feel like a limber kind of. You've seen those blow up things outside like carpet shops. I felt like that. It was great, and it just meant that my body was kind of ready. If I did that in the morning, immediately after I woke up, it's like a 10-minute thing where I do that, and then maybe a couple other stretches, and then when I've warmed up, I feel even more warmed up than ever.
Yeah.
It's weird, like it just primes my body ready for it, as opposed to fatiguing.
I do like. I haven't been doing it lately, which is quite bad. But for the last couple of months, I've been doing like a lot of like spinal waves, which is just like almost like you're doing like the worm, but standing up. So you're kind of like worming. You're going from like you push your chin forwards and then your chest, and you're kind of rolling down the vertebrae all the way to the bottom, and you'll do that a few times, and then back the other way, and then you'll do it kind of like sideways, so you're kind of moving like a bit snakish.
I'm just imagining you
making around.
Oh, it looks weird.
Just imagine him walking into his living room one time, and he's just like,
I'll show you later. It looks wild. It looks like you're like, man, this man must be some yogi. He's flex. He's flex. And then you're like, oh, he's not. He's just moving. And then he's just kind of wiggling a bit. And then I'll do some kind of hip opening stuff, circles and squats, a bit of kind of Like Ido Patal's got a squat mobility work where you squat down and you will grab like your left arm will grab your right shin and then you'll turn up to the sky. So
that shit fucks me.
Yeah,
that shit fucks me every
that's
single
a real
time.
like that's quite an intense one. But I'll do that, but I won't kind of like push it too far. I'll just kind of like test the ranges. And there's a lot of mobility routines out there that I've been kind of stealing stuff from. But I think if I did it for a few days, I'll be absolutely fine. Like when I was doing it every day, I felt great. I felt like super, super good. But I think that when I feel bad is when I've accidentally done it. I've pushed it a bit too far and I've gone a bit too deep. And now I'm almost doing like PNF stretching instead of just light mobility.
I did that with yoga, going too deep. I injured myself at a yoga session, so I stopped going. Yoga? Yeah, it's because they tell you to relax, they tell you to not push yourself and stuff, but I find it hard. It's like I'm holding that position, and I'm like, I'm not coming out of this position until the class comes out.
The floor.
I'm like, I will not stop. I'm like straining to not fall down, but I'm like, I will not stop. And it's bad. I shouldn't be doing it like that.
I think with trickers potentially, maybe I think if you've got like a dance background or like a martial arts background, it's not too bad. But if you've got none of those backgrounds, you've never properly stretched before. I think if you come into tricking, you've got that driven mind of being like, I can achieve more, or like I will do this the best of my ability.
You just want to willpower.
And then you stretch and you're like, I'm about a foot away from the ground. I can push this. And you're like, no, you can't. You really can't. So you end up like messing yourself up for weeks. You're like, why am I so stiff after stretching? You're like, well, you stretched too hard. That's why. Your brain was a bit stronger than your body.
Yeah, that's the story of my life. I always think I'm God's gift until my body breaks.
I can achieve this.
Yeah, and then you can't at all. Don't listen to me ever. I'm an inspirational fuck, but look where it gets me.
Just don't ever listen to me.
I'm a dusty old man.
Dusty.
But yeah, I don't know. Anything else you want to add? Because I think that wraps it up, mate.
No, just keep killing it with the podcast.
Sorry.
Thanks, pal. Hope you enjoyed this talk about
fucking
gatherings, old school UK tricking, stretching, bad tricks, the future of tricking.
They just watched the video. They know what it was about.
It's just a recap. It's just a recap to get the people going. They're going to be like,
just skipped an hour and a half. To the end of this video. Here's a recap.
Oh yeah, I did watch all of that. Cool. I think I'm going to watch more of this show.
Please, because we're all strong.
Yeah, because no one watches it, and it makes us really sad. Nah, it doesn't. I haven't looked at the views for the last few, but I assume no one's watching it.
We're going to keep on making it until you like it, and we're going to keep on trying until one of us dies, or
gets arrested or something. Bye. End of podcast.